Going to get this completely fresh MacBook Pro and get it developer ready under 10 minutes. I've got Aerospace to help me launch and tile. I've got Tmux, which lets me jump between sessions. In those sessions, I have Neovim with fuzzy find and LSP. Between sessions, I've also got my digital brain holding all my notes in markdown files. I've also got a really nice looking ZSH setup with fancy looking prompts that respect when I'm in a Git repo, like over here. All that in less than 10 minutes, all automated with my script. Let me show you. I like my computers like I like my people. Disposable. Oh yeah, baby. We got there. So you might be wondering, why, Nathan? Why would you blow up your Mac for no reason? That was a perfectly usable system. Why delete everything on there? Because I've been hurt before. Once upon a time, I owned a different MacBook Pro, and that MacBook Pro was my first MacBook. I was very excited, the most expensive laptop I've ever owned. It was beautiful. I set it up. I took hours, days configuring it to my delight, and then it was perfect. I used it for 1 year. And after 1 year, I was developing one day, writing code and things. I get up from my desk to go to the bathroom, and when I come back, what do I smell but the sweet scent of burning solder? It didn't boot. Nothing worked, actually. I lost everything, all my configurations, all my data. I took it to the Genius Bar or whatever they're called, and they told me I'd have to spend like $1,200 on a brand new logic board. $1,200, dude. What? Since that day, I have been paranoid. Call it trauma, if you will. But I went through every rabbit hole to make sure my data would be safe. I went through Time Machine backups. I was looking at ZFS for storing all my data securely. But at the end of the day, what I realized is the truth of all things. Everybody leaves. I mean, all things break. That is the start of a new philosophy for me and machines. I've decided that all development environments should be disposable. Instantly disposable. But what does that mean if you want to be productive? Obviously, you can just throw things out and then they're disposable. But what does disposable mean productively? Well, it means two things. Your data is not on the device. All the things you care about data-wise are somewhere else, whether that's the cloud or your NAS. For me, it's NASD. This thing is heavy. This is where data lives. Not here, not here, not here, and certainly not here. So that's data. What about config? I don't want to daily drive a default MacBook Pro. Do you know how bad the window management on macOS is? You do, because I see it. Everybody commented in my frickin' Windows video about how macOS's window manager is actually worse than Windows window manager. Okay, look, dude, it was just funny to say that Windows had the worst window management, okay? Because it's in the name, but I've got some config. And that is what we're going to be walking through today. How do we rebuild our configuration like that? I think we're going to be able to do it in under 10 minutes. Ready? Now you might be wondering to yourself, what does developer ready mean to you, Nathan? I knew you'd ask that. I knew you would. You couldn't just wait till the end of the video when everything's installed and then you could see what I do. No. You needed to know right now. Luckily for you, I put that in the GitHub repo. So here at github.com/nlaundry/Mac auto setup, we've got everything laid out for you. There's like a core features section that lets you know. I use Zap for ZSH. It's a really clean, minimal ZSH thing. I just want my ZSH to look a little prettier without deviating too far, because I don't want expectations on other machines that aren't portable, okay? I like Raycast as my runner, because Spotlight is mid. Spotlight's mid. It's not that good. Raycast, very good. A little bit annoying, though, on the install. You'll see that. Aerospace. Okay, all of my most popular videos are on tiling window managers on weird platforms. And guess what? This one is too. All you guys who said window management on macOS sucks, I have a fix. I have multiple fixes, actually, but Aerospace is the one I've landed on. I will do a video on all the other tiling guys for macOS, but this is the best one. I have tried them all. Astro and Vim. I'm going to get so much hate for this. Astro Neovim. Look, dude, I did the Neovim thing. I had my own config. I managed it myself. And no matter what you do, every couple of months, something breaks. And I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it. Neovim developers have sort of converged on this common set of hotkeys and configuration. And most distributions of Neovim are fairly similar. Astro and Vim just seems to be the one that I like, and now I don't have to deal with things breaking all the time, so far. I also keep Vim, just regular, happy old Vim, because something needs to edit make files, and I need something that is not allergic to tabs. I use GNU Stow to handle actually getting all my dot files over to the home. And then I also install GNU's version of core utils, because if you're on Linux and have been on Linux for a long time, the BSD based core utils that are shipped with macOS will piss you off. Every time. There are just flags that have been bloated into GNU's version of core utils that aren't available, and you're used to them if you're on Linux, and then you're angry. That's gone. That's gone. So what is this? It's a full keyboard-driven, terminal-based workflow, and all of this will be installable with one line. It's this one right here. I'll show you soon. Of course, that's not enough to get an entire developer machine ready, right? There are a lot of applications that you need installed. That is where Brewfile comes in. A Brewfile is just a Homebrew. Homebrew's macOS's package manager, essentially, is just a list of brew installs put into one file. It's beautiful. All sorts of stuff is included in here so that you don't have to worry about installing things. Right? Okay, so I thought we were going to have one-line installation. It's ready to go, but it didn't quite go like that the first time. I haven't tested this yet. This is the first run. Let's hope. At first, things seemed pretty good. I thought we were going to have like a little moment where I could like, something would break and then I'd go, and then it would be a clip, and that would be content. But now you just have me laughing like a maniac. Yeah, so it started off strong, and then many other things broke. So we do get to debug something. Here's a problem. Stow didn't work. Which command? Which command wasn't found? I'm just going to reboot. Boom. Did I just try to LS my browser? I think this isn't good enough. Like, it worked after some tweaking, but this is not the one-shot installation process that I promised you at the start of this video. That's not what this is yet. We're gonna have to try this again. Having learned some stuff on my first install attempt, I blew up my Mac again for you, the viewer, so that you could follow me along on this full experience and we could get that sweet, sweet one-shot under 10-minute install process. And by God, we got there. We got there. Oh, we're going again. Take two. Back to Git, we copy paste. Let's try this. Paste. Bang. Password. Caps lock's on. Okay, here we go. We got Homebrew. I love a good progress bar. Oh, I think it worked. All right, we have our ZSH set up, and there we go. We got tiling. If I do this, we tile our terminals, and we can close them. Very nice. Oh, that's nice. And let's check Neovim. Yes. Yes. All right, and then it installs all of the AstroVim goodies. First try. Oh, second try. First try. In my heart. Raycast. Boom. This is my runner. Wow, that is extra. I just want to launch programs, bro. Relax. I don't want AI. Get your AI out of my face. Fantastic. Wow. That was a lot. We have Raycast, which is just Spotlight but better. I can't believe that worked. I think we actually did that in under 10 minutes. Not bad. Second time's a charm. Now we do a little manual setup. And I get to show you what's up. There's really only two things that I do at this point. They are hide the stupid doc. Who uses this? And caps lock is a worthless key. There's just no need for the caps lock key, dude. Like, who am I yelling to on the internet? I replace that with option so that I can go with my little pinky guy, hit caps lock, and that's option for hotkeys to launch things. I use like option T to launch more terminals. So we go to keyboard, keyboard settings, keyboard shortcuts, modifier keys, and then we select caps lock key and we just set that sucker to option. Caps lock is all of a sudden a useful key where useful keys should be. And then we're going to go automatically hide the dock. So now we've got everything working. Let's show you how I actually use my system. Here's the deal. We've got Aerospace for tiling. Tiling. As many tiles as you want. I hit Option T, which remember is caps lock T, which is much more comfortable, to launch more terminals. I can also launch Safari and close it. I can manage multiple virtual desktops. On desktop 1, this is where I keep my terminal. On desktop 2, this is where I keep my browser. I keep usually 6. I'll keep like chats and email and stuff like that on other desktops. But this is the main one. Let's talk about runners. What about programs that aren't hotkeyed? Well, I hit Option D to launch Raycast. Now I can launch Discord or other things. I can also, because Raycast is awesome, do interesting conversions. So we can find out how much do I weigh in kilograms, 77 of those. How much money did I make on YouTube? 94 US cents. Big bucks, baby. Raycast is awesome. There are so many things you can do with it. I will not get into that in this video, but maybe I will if there's interest. Let's do the fun bits. This is Tmux and Astro and Vim. I have a couple Tmux sessions already running. Let's do Tmux ls, which shows us which sessions are going. I keep a default one, I keep a DB, and I keep projects. We can do a Tmux attach-t Mac. Boom. And I'm in, just like that. We're gonna actually do this from the beginning. I like to use multiple Tmux. I think they're called windows, but they might be panes. I don't know. I like to keep Neovim in a project open on my 0th pane. And then if I want to do things like execute or run a makefile or something like that, I can do that out here on pane 2. So I can jump back and forth. Let's say I run bootstrap sh. I'm not gonna, because I already have. I can run that, hop into Neovim, take a look at bootstrap sh, jump about, jump back over with a control B1 to the other pane. If I need another thing for something, I can just open that up. Maybe I want to cat the readme in here. I don't know why I would want that. Anyways, I can open tons of these. Now, this is something super fun. I keep a flat directory of markdown files as my digital brain or database. And I also always keep that open in a Tmux session. Let's hop over to that now. If I go to index.md, that's my home page, you can see this is how I take notes. And I can jump back and forth with a go file, for example. It goes to my file named new note. I can hit Control O and jump back out. I can go to the one for this video, go file, Mac auto setup. I haven't cloned in my actual digital brain stuff yet, but this is a good example. And so I find this to be the most effective note-taking system I've ever had. Just Neovim and some markdown files. I have tried Notion, I have tried Obsidian, I have tried purely handwritten notes. I still do a lot of handwritten notes, but this has just been the best setup I've ever had. And if I'm working on a project, I can keep that open in a Tmux session and jump back and forth. So I can go take this script, for example, jump over to DB, and then just go, hey, here's the shell script I'm working with. Let's keep that for later. Pretty cool, right? Pretty quick. I also forgot to talk briefly about Astro and Vim. I will make a whole video on this. I just want to briefly go over this. I'm sick of managing my own configuration, and Astro and Vim gets me about 95% of the way to the configuration that I was used to managing my own configuration. It's got all the jazz. I can use Mason, search up the Bash language server. We can just install that. Super simple and easy. And now I've got completions and things. Can I hover? Yeah, I can. That's pretty cool. I love that. We can also do all of your fuzzy find stuff. So if I want to fuzzy find files, that works with space FF. Fuzzy find words, like looking for things with Git. Cool. That works. I've got a nice little thingy on the side. I can do splits and things. I can do tabs if I want. It's just Neovim with the LSP handled for you, and configuration seems to break less often. It's pretty awesome. One other thing, which is ZSH. So we're gonna hop over to default. If I ls-a, you'll see this. What is .zsh.d? Well, if I cat ZSHRC, which is usually full of stuff, it's not. It instead has 3 lines here for sourcing all of the shell files in .zsh.d. Now, why would I do that? Because now we can modularize our shell. So I can keep aliases in a separate shell file. I can keep different scripts that I run in a command shell, or plugins for Zap. I keep that very minimal. If I want to customize my prompt or add new completions, all of that can be separated out so that you're not over encumbered in one ZSHC file that's like 500 lines long, and you're like, where did I put that again? No, none of that ever again. All separated, modularized .zsh.d. And that is where this video comes in. I stole this idea, this beautiful idea, by a wonderful, wonderful video editor. Take a look at solving the dotfiles problem if you want a much better explanation on why and how I do that. And that's pretty much it. That's how I develop day to day, jumping about very quickly and easily. Tmux gets me to my digital brain, different projects and different Tmux sessions. It's beautiful. And here's the best part. This is just a GitHub repository. You can fork it, and then you can mess with the dot files however you like. You can add or remove things to and from the brew file, and you can make this your own automatic macOS developer setup installer guy. So if you ever blow up your Mac like I did, or you get a new Mac from work, boom, ready to go, 10 minutes, very nice. Oh, that's nice.